evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater, the largest single-screen drive-in in the United States. We're certainly glad you could be with us this evening, and don't forget the concession stand is open with all kinds of great things to eat and drink.
.3 Mahoning Drive-In Radio. Your old friend Virgil back once again with two very special guest hosts, or co-hosts, I should say. Mark, say hello.
Hello.
James in the house. Say hello, JT.
Word up.
It's great to have you guys on the show as we jump into what is probably the craziest topic we'll ever have to hopefully talk about on the show, which is the journey we just all took together before we jumped into the Jamboree, when we all found out that the Mahoning Drive-In Theater had been optioned to a solar panel company, which caught us all by surprise. And those of you guys that follow us on social media may have seen where this thing went and how it all turned out. But for those of you guys that didn't, we figured this is a great place to share with you maybe one of the most epic stories in cinema history, if you ask me. And that's not just saying because I was in the eye of it, or we were in the eye of it. We got that news and really had no way to react to it and no time to react to it. And they had called for a zoning hearing meeting at the township, which pretty much means that the company trying to come in on the land was looking for a variance to allow them to do what they wanted to do on the property, which at the time was not allowed in this township. So that's kind of when we caught wind of what was going on.
And the way we found out was a neighbor came onto the property with a letter saying, "Hey, do you guys know anything about this?" The answer was no. The letter, if it was the same as the public notice that was published in the Lehighton Times News, it lists the property at an address that I never associate. As far as I was concerned, we're 635 Seneca Ave or Seneca Road. Right. And this said something else. It was like 200 something. The address I've always used as dictated to me was the 635 in Lehighton, Pennsylvania. And this address in the document, the public notice, was 200 something in Mahoning Township. So if you had handed that to me out of the blue, I would have said, looks like somebody wants to put a solar farm way over there somewhere.
Yeah.
It's the address for the marquee.
Exactly.
Maybe it is. I don't know. It was just like, it was an address that, so I'm surprised that even neighbors knew that that's what that was, but they alerted us to that. And then it was panic and strategy time. Like, what do we do and how do we do it? We only have, what was it, a couple weeks probably from when we found out about that?
Yeah, we had until the zoning meeting. I think we had not even 2 weeks. And right away, I went to the friends that we have at the township with the chamber and the preservation office and other folks like that. And I pretty much asked them, like, hey, what can we do? Like, is there anything we can do? And off of their suggestion, they said, look, this is a hearing. This is like a court hearing. It would be beneficial for you guys to have people speak on your behalf on why the Mahoning is so important. And certainly people in higher up places would make some waves, being that if this does go to a higher level court, you want as much on the record as possible in your favor. And honestly, us coming into this thing, this is purely about saving the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. It always has been. And we were under the assumption that we would get first rights at purchasing the property when the time came. So this did come as a total shock to us, and we had no other way to react than, trying to figure out how to get our ducks in a row. But I remember sitting with Mark and saying, we can't tell the public. Like, our public will lose their minds. Like, this means so much to so many people that in pure protection mode, we made the decision of, like, we have to keep this as hush as possible, even though there had been a newspaper ad. There, at that point, they had put up a zoning variance sign, which is required by the township for them to put it on our property. So it was right at the entryway.
And that was the weekend that Joe Bob and his team were filming on the lot. And we didn't want to panic people. We really did not want a circus at that meeting of people freaking out and maybe having, our fear was that it would work against us. All these people show up with, signs and torches and black t-shirts and the township goes, screw these guys, sold.
Shows how little people read the newspaper.
Well, again, like there was no mention of the theater.
Who goes and digs through the public notices for pleasure? Like I'm sure almost nobody knew about this. Our neighbors knew because they were given these letters because they, abutted the property. And we didn't want the Joe Bob people to find out and think that we were suddenly throwing this major event into jeopardy because we might not be there anymore.
Right.
So we decided you assembled, it was all you assembled like an Avengers team, basically, of local spokespeople to come and speak on our behalf at this meeting that was going to be held on Tuesday, July 6th, which was a show night, which was great for us too. Like how much on the down low can we be to not let anybody know that a bunch of us are going over to this meeting, because we didn't want to panic everybody and we didn't want it to be a circus. And I'll let you take it from there.
So we got our VIPs behind us. Local school district, the hospital, the airport, the, again, preservation office, the local businesses, the diners in town, the hotels, pretty much everybody that we could think of that would show how big a benefit having the Mahoning in Lehighton is. We had behind us, we had ready to go. They were all there. And a couple from our team as well. Mark was there, Val was there. And we were ready to speak. I had a little something that I wanted to say, which was pretty much cutting my heart open in front of the folks and letting them know how much this place means, not just to myself, my direct family, but the Mahoning family that has grown out of it. And not just the local community, but the nationwide film community. It is something that is to be cherished. And as far as going in there on that day, I felt very confident that it would be hard for this solar company to prove any other worth higher than what we deliver on a pure economic level. But
they had graphs and charts.
Yeah. Well, and we'll get into that whole situation, but we didn't get a chance to preach any love for the Mahoning, because right as the meeting was brought to order, somebody from the board stood up and said there has not been proper public notice, although it was posted in the paper. Somebody decided to cover up the sign at the Mahoning property. Then I stood up and I said, it was me who covered the sign. I did it in an effort to protect not just our fan base when we were open for business hours, because I would take the sign down and hopefully have some people see it when it was down, but also to keep this meeting from becoming a circus. And I made a point to say that this was more than anything an effort for this meeting, so we could get through this easily without any hoopla. And, I apologized. They said, we're going to reschedule this meeting for I think it was a month from then.
August 3rd.
And they pretty much pushed us all out the door. So
I think they were just impressed by my ripped jeans and tie attire that I was
like, we're not ready for this.
They're like, geez, this guy's got too much style for this room.
I was all business up top and casual down below.
I felt really super nervous in that meeting, because I thought we were speaking in that moment to save the place. And would they want to hear what I had to say? But when I walked in, and by the way, they start on the button there. Like, we got there 15 minutes early, and I thought this meeting had already started. You were sort of casually chatting with several of the zoning board members, and they were all smiles and they had all these stories about when they used to go to the drive-in. And Bill, the son of the man who built the drive-in, was there joking about how, he always says the Lehighton population explosion happened in 1949 when the drive-in opened. And one of the women there said she was born in 1950, one of the board members. So that was encouraging to know that they all had good experiences and good memories of the theater. But at the same time, they have to have this hearing, legally have to have the hearing, and they have to legally hear the options and weigh in and based on what they think, I believe, is best for the community. So we really thought we were going up against, a corporate giant, and suddenly that balloon got quickly deflated because come back later. So to me, it got very interesting when we went out in the parking lot and started talking to people from the town. Like 2 guys came up to me, and I thought he looked serious and concerned, and I thought, uh-oh, he doesn't like the drive-in. But it was a guy who's on the planning board, and he said he only found out that morning because a friend of his who's also on the planning board told him about it. Like, they had no idea, people in the township, that this was impending. And he was very, very supportive. And he was saying, no, you guys have to fight this. You have to pack that room. You have to turn this into a circus. There was a hospital that was coming in, which has gone through, a hospital that was being discussed that the township was going to vote against, but so many people came to a meeting and spoke in favor of it that they had no choice but to put it through. So they were very encouraging and very, very pro drive-in, anti-solar farm.
Yeah, I had the actual board members come up to me and talk to me and say the same thing, which, it's like candidly just be very honest and tell me, like, you want to get as many people out here as possible, and very understanding of, why the sign was covered up. Even in the room, they were definitely very stern about, you can't do that. But I mean, as human beings, they, outside of the room, they were very, down to earth about why we did that. And, giving us actual advice, giving me advice about what you should do the next time, which I thought was, amazing, because they definitely seemed like they were actually secretly in our corner.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, as many people know, these boards are made up of people in the township, the neighbors, our neighbors.
Everybody we talked to, like, literally borders our property. It was amazing. I got to meet most of our neighbors in that parking lot.
Yeah, and we were really able to see how much love, people have for the theater. Not that we don't know it; we see it every weekend. But just
you don't see it from locals very often.
Immediate,
you see it from out-of-towners.
Right. And it was one of those things where they started coming out of the woodwork with stories and support. And the biggest thing that we took from that, besides, never cover up a zoning sign, was there is benefit in making it a circus. When people from the township come up and say, you have to reach out to the news, you have to let so-and-so know, you have to get on the radio, you have to, I turned to Mark, I turned to James, I turned to everybody in the team out in that parking lot, and I said, we have to light the wick as much as we do not want to. And people are going to potentially lose their minds or have their hearts shattered to pieces. It's what we have to do. We have no way to keep this quiet. There's no way to do it. There's no way to do it quietly and have this dealt with quietly. So that's when we all made the decision together, like, we have to let the public know.
Yeah, right after the meeting ended and you had to get back to the theater, I only came down just to go to the meeting. I had work and everything, but then the rest of us decided, let's get some food, so except for you, because you actually had, work to do at the theater, the rest of us, including Nancy and Zoe, and I didn't even know that Zoe didn't know.
Zoe and Max did not know, nor did the youth crew. So Virgil had the thrill of going and telling them. Well, we all went out to a nice Italian dinner.
Yeah, right. So that was definitely really difficult, knowing that they were coming and then they didn't know. And that's what was going to be the topic of discussion during dinner. It was, it was interesting being able to be like kind of public. We were talking about it very candidly at this restaurant, when before we were all like, shh, don't talk about it. But on the way there, I called John Demmer because I know that he has experience with this stuff. He's a part of historical societies in his town. And I knew he could give us some like expert advice on how you handle this kind of thing, because he's done these before and he's won these before.
Yeah, which he did. He did.
I put him on the phone with Mark and Val, and he gave some very, very passionate advice about how you have to do this. And because of that passionate advice, we all sat down at that dinner and we came up with our own little strategy of how we could make this go viral. And me and Mark were talking about the rally idea and just forming a lot of ideas based on, you know, what would they do in a movie? Like how would they run the situation if this had been a film? And we've seen so many movies that have done this. So it was very easy to just pluck ideas out of the air, been like, oh, we have to do a rally. Oh, we have to do a hashtag. Oh, we have to do
that was all your
things.
idea. And I just helped finesse it. But and that's what you said at the time. You're like, this is where being movie people are to our advantage. How would they do it in a movie?
Yeah, you had the best quote, James. You really did when you said, how else would film nerds react? We need to save our empire. We need to rise up against the man. That's kind of what it felt like is, you know, our livelihood and life is being threatened. What can we do to, now that we know we have to get the word out there, really get the word out there? And all we've been doing for the last 7 years is getting the word out. It's what we've become really good at is hitting the social medias and getting the word out about shows and what we do and who we are and everything. So I think that planning in that meeting really solidified. And I think that's when you guys started the group too and started letting really tight fans know.
We started it was a messenger conversation. So it was a group chat on Messenger called Save the Mahoning. And we were letting more and more people in and letting them know. And everybody, again, I keep going back to the Avengers. It's like the end of the last Avengers movie. Everybody just started taking what they're great at, coming up with memes and logos and all kinds of stuff and jumping
to your left.
And it was amazing. And we had planned to let it go public at a certain date. And then suddenly somebody said, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag now, and sent a link that one of the local papers had picked up on that. I guess had picked up on the meeting that we had gone to. And suddenly it's like, okay, we can't wait anymore. So
it was because we were so organized, like that we had all this figured out before it went public. Like we didn't go public and then have to figure out after the fact, what are we going to do? Like we actually had that window, and it's a good thing the meeting did get postponed because we had this time to really come up with this great strategy. And then when it was like, here it is,
you know, it was a destined thing, as terrible and bad a decision as it was for me to cover up that sign. In a way, like it's part of this storybook story and how this all unfolds, to think like, all right, we got a second shot at this. We can get our ducks in a row and figure out how we're actually going to go in on a public appeal level.
And I think the first move that we did publicly was that video that you shot. You shot the video, you didn't go live?
Yeah, so the morning or the night that article came out, which it was in our local paper, again, probably not a lot of people saw it, but it did mention the Mahoning Drive-In Theater by name. And I knew that it would only be a matter of time till a fan saw it, shared it, and it started to spread like wildfire. So I was laying there in bed thinking, how could I possibly, and I think I was going back and forth with Mark, how can we possibly put into words what is going on here and what this means and how big this is and everything else? And I woke up the next morning and literally had the epiphany of, I'm going to stand on the roof and literally just spin in circles, show off the landscape, and cut the heart open and tell people the truth about what's going on and the reality of what's going on, you know? And that's exactly what I did. And instead of being on the roof, I walked around the building, but it sounded
if I had been there, I would have got up on the roof.
Keep this guy off the roof.
I know.
Where's JT? Probably on the roof.
I'm a pacer, so it probably would have been bad. I would have been walking back and forth and eventually just fell off the roof, which would have been a great twist to the video. But for those of you guys that didn't see it, this is how it sounded. And this is going to sound like a man who is desperately pleading for help and desperately feeling like his life and his family's life and friends' work and everything was crumbling around him. So I think this one's like 6 minutes of pure heartache, but this is what went viral.
Hey guys, your old friend Virgil here. So I want to talk to all of you very, very seriously right now. Normally I'm upbeat and chipper. Today, not the case. Just got the word that the Mahoning property has been optioned to a solar panel farm. I'm going to say it one more time so you guys can hear it. The Mahoning Drive-In Theater has been optioned to a solar panel farm. I know this sounds dire. It's heartbreaking for a lot of you guys, but know that the fight is now beginning to save the place that we all love. You guys know it. This is my heart. This is my family. All of you guys are my family. And the fight now falls on us to prove to the township zoning board that there is no place for a solar panel farm here at the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. A thriving, essential piece of the community that everybody here loves. Now here's the details, okay? All 4 of our owners' properties have been optioned to Green Skies solar panels. They have to jump through hoops to get zoning ordinance changes, business plans passed, all that stuff, to be able to come in here, demolish that beautiful screen, and put solar panel farms all over this property. Now the plus side is, if we can prove together to the township that this place is worth fighting for, then on August 3rd, we may be able to get the zoning board to overturn their proposal for a variance here. The fight is on. The fight of our lives is on. This is our save the empire moment. So on August 3rd, expect to see it. We are going to be pushing the hell out of it. Rally here at the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. We march down to the township. We let them know how much the Mahoning Drive-In Theater means, not just to us as fans, but the community and what we do here for the community. We support this community like crazy. We bring in a ton of money to this community. We are a huge source of tourism for this community. You guys all know it. What the Mahoning Drive-In Theater stands for is way, way, way bigger than anything like this. So please, please, anything that you guys can do to support us in this fight will mean the world. We want this place to last for another 72 years and beyond. For my kids, for your kids, this is a fight that we have to fight. Like JB says, the drive-in will never die, and that is true. There is way too much spiritual energy around what the Mahoning Drive-In Theater has built and become to see it end this way. I'm sorry to all of you guys that are having your heart broken, but no, this is not the end. This is not the end of our fight. This is a glorious finale, and we can get this puppy back. So please, please, please hear me. Take us into your heart, support us, share the hell out of this. For all of you guys that stand for the love of the drive-in culture, do everything that you can. Put it out to everybody that you can. Make this the circus that it needs to be. Foolishly, I covered up our zoning sign to try to protect the fan base here. I thought, if the fans find out about this, they are going to lose their minds, literally lose their minds that their happy place is getting pulled out from under them by a solar panel farm. I know you guys are going to have a million questions. We're going to do everything that we can to answer every single one of them. But no, this is a fight that we are going to win. Mark my words. The Mahoning family, the drive-in culture is going to come out in droves and support what we stand for and what we do. I love you guys all. I'm sorry that we had to break this news to you, but it's essential. This is our next plot point. This is our next turn in the story. How many times can the phoenix rise? You're about to find out. So please, guys, August 3rd. August 3rd, it's a Tuesday. Township zoning meeting happening. Rally right here at the Mahoning. We are going to show them what we are and who they are messing with. I love you guys so much. Yes. Peace and love. Drive-in will never die. Mark my words.
So as you can see, this was as serious as a heart attack. This was something that, now that we knew we had to light the wick and get the word out to the public, that this was the way to do it, to really get the seriousness of this out to everybody, for them to understand and take it all in. Because honestly, if we made a graphic that said, you know, Mahoning sold to solar panel farm or whatever it is, people would have lost their mind, not even read the context, and just been like, what is happening? What is in the serious hell is happening here, you know? And we were able to do that, I think, with a lot of couth. You know, I think that video was the perfect way for us to put out how we all felt. And I knew that I was speaking for the team. I was speaking for every fan that loves this theater. And, you know, to have the opportunity to do that and get the word out, I think, again, stroke of destiny. There's no other way that that could have happened. So I'll let you guys take it as far as how that got the word out and what kind of transpired after that, as far as the support from everywhere.
Well, I just think it was so important that the message was like clear. Like there was no, you know, we'll see what happens or we'll get back to you. Like, you know, we already had the plan figured out, and you laid it out, and then we laid it out in text, and then we laid it out in graphics, and we made it just explicitly clear what everybody could do to help, instead of just being pissed off and the outrage. Like, we wanted to aim the outrage in a beneficial direction, instead of just people gossiping and talking and saying, I can't believe it. Can you believe it? Oh my God, what did we do? And we certainly did not want to walk around the lot for the next 4 weeks until the meeting, just saying, you know, having people come up to us and saying, oh, well, I'm so sorry about the theater. And we don't want that. We want people to say, there's a link for this. There's a website for this.
Yeah.
You know, here's what
We
you can do.
appreciate how you feel. Here's where you go to actually put it into action.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I whipped up some text. It initially was going to be a change.org petition, and we modified that to be like our official statement that people could copy and paste, and we would make it a press release or something. And I started typing it into Patreon to sort of let that slip out a little ahead of everything else. And that was the night it exploded, where you said, no, it's public. We need to blast this out. So I immediately quickly came up with a Save the Mahoning Drive-In Facebook page. And I figured that would be the place where everybody could go for updates and information and for action items and all that stuff. And in that block of text, there was, here's what you can do. Please do this immediately. And it was, you know, be very polite, contact the township and let them know what this place means to you. And I said, you know, how often you visit, where you come from, and how much money you spend and where. Because that's a big thing that people don't often think about, is that, yes, people come and spend money at our theater, but they also, most people are there for a couple days. They might get a hotel room. You have to eat somewhere during the day that's not our place. They go and you need gas. And I think the region benefits greatly from us being there. So I said, mention all of that, contact the solar company, please be polite and do the same thing. The money part doesn't matter to them. Just let them know. And I made a couple of people in the Save the Mahoning chat admins on that page, because this was like the day before I was leaving to come down for Joe Bob weekend that this exploded. And I knew I wasn't going to have time. So I think I did an interview with someone from the Times News, a reporter. I want to say that it might have even been Wednesday morning before I came down for Joe Bob. And I drove down. Tell me if my timeline is off, because it all happens really, really quickly. I had launched the Facebook page. Right. The next morning I did that interview while I was waiting for FedEx to drop something off that I needed for the theater on Thursday night. Yeah. And then I headed south. You had talked to Joe Bob about it, and he was giving you all kinds of advice on what to do. And the press started calling, and there were multiple newspaper articles and interviews. And I believe it was when I got on the lot on Thursday that you had news. Am I leaving anything out? Because it was really just this explosion of people online sharing the hashtag and sharing their stories and sharing photos. We
even had celebrities doing this for us as well. That was what's so great about building obviously a fan base with the people that come out as regulars, but also having celebrity guests come out, is that they also reacted to this news. And we had people like Ari Lehman sharing stuff, and we had Lloyd Kaufman sharing things. Linnea Quigley, yeah. So many people, like from all walks of life and different regions of the country, just taking to those directions. And, it was just an unstoppable news shattering force from all across the country.
Yeah, major media, Fangoria tweeted it out, and then it went out to everybody in the horror community and the community in general. And then it became a cinematic / preservation fight, and it started making waves in those corners. And within 24 hours, this thing was everywhere. And we were being contacted by literally press across the world about this story. And that Wednesday, which I think you're talking about, Mark, right before Joe Bob, I think I did on-camera interviews, at least 15 on the lot. We had people actually waiting in line.
Wow, I didn't know that was that much.
Yeah, we did so many, and that doesn't include the phone interviews. A lot of those things I had Mark and other people on the team jump in on. But it was one of those things that we knew it was out there. We knew the world was finding out about it. We knew there were a ton of questions, which we also addressed in that video, and we wanted to do our best to answer them. And, the biggest thing, for me, like you said, was the support. When people started reaching out personally, people who, I consider amazing friends, people who are my go-to guides in life, but also heroes. The idea that Joe Bob was about to come into town, I reached out to him and I said, I want to let you know this is happening. And, I have to put this out there to the public. I really don't want to do it right before we're about to get into a big celebratory weekend with you, but this is very serious, And he took the time, a good hour and a half of his time, to really give me advice and try to be in our corner and be a champion for what we stand for and what the Jamboree was at that point about to roll into and stand for. And it was moving, just like all this support was so moving to have this community that you've spent so much time and energy on. And, this isn't about money for us, as a lot of you guys know. None of us have gotten rich here at the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. And to see that support come back in a barreling wave was incredible. I'm getting emotional thinking about it now, because I think that's what it is all about. Is we jumped into this to save a single drive-in, and then the movement shifted into shining a light on the drive-in culture, and then it became, creating a new kind of future for the drive-in culture, and kind of setting the bar for what a drive-in can be in the new era. And to see it all kind of come to fruition as all of these outlets started coming out of the woodwork and supporting us and letting us know how much we meant to them and how essential we are to the cinematic community and the drive-in community and the world's cinema landscape. It was just moving to the point where it was overwhelming. I mean, Mark will tell you, he's the one who deals with a lot of the emails. We are still digging through the emails of people who, you know, just wanted to reach out with advice, or, hey, this is something you should think about, or have you ever thought of this? Or it's just, it is and still is never ending. And that love is really what took this battle to the most unbelievable heights for us.
It certainly helped as well that we had national attention with that New York Times article right before this happened.
That came out Tuesday, right?
Sunday.
Yeah, so we had shared it Monday on the social medias, and then Tuesday is when we shared the video announcement. And then Wednesday we had the madness, you know. And then Thursday,
unfathomable this sweep could happen in the same week.
I know. Well, honestly, it feels like we've lived several lifetimes over this season, you know.
I keep saying, you know, we had a hell of a month that week.
Yes, exactly. But how it went down was a statement was put out on Wednesday night, I believe, on behalf of the solar panel farm. And they said that they are working with the landowner and the proprietor to come to some sort of agreement or terms, you know, to make this work out. And I'm reading this thing. I think it was a tweet, and they also had an official statement on their website. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking, like, well, I haven't heard from anybody, and I haven't heard that they've tried to reach out, you know. So the next morning I called. I asked for the CEO, and they were very much like, oh, yes, we know who you are, which was really kind of, you know, again, out of a movie. And the guy jumps on the phone and said, we have been looking for your number all day, you know. And he said, you know, let me jump onto a better line. Let me give you a call back. So I'm walking around the lots, setting up for Joe Bob. This is Thursday. So this is literally as we're about to jump into the 4-day jamboree. So I'm walking around setting up the camping cones in the back and making sure the lot is all up to snuff and blah, blah, blah. And the phone rings and I answer it. It is, I believe, the CEO. And he gets to talking, and right away he starts with, you know, we saw the video. We have been getting tweets all day, all night for the last 24 hours. And we just want to let you know, like, we had no idea coming into this thing what the Mahoning Drive-In Theater meant on a cultural level to the cinematic community. And when we jumped into this thing, it certainly wasn't put out to us in any sense like that. So, you know, there was a moment of silence there, and I told them, like, I instinctively, I said, I apologize, you know, for, you know, again, lighting that wick or opening up those gates. And naturally people turned some of that fire on this company. So he took a moment of silence and he said, I want to let you know that we are not going to be pursuing this option anymore. We're pulling out of it 100%. And I broke down. I cried. I thanked him over and over again. And he made a point to say, you know, this is a very big investment that we are walking away from. This is something that we want to let you know personally. And they said they only had 2 terms, which I loved. They said our only 2 terms in pushing forward with this is that you call off the wolves. You let the people know that this is something that we are doing and behind and supporting, and let them know via your social outlets and wherever else best that you can. And they ask that we support any other projects that they may come into Lehighton with. And I jokingly said, but I'm kind of serious, I said, I will wear your company's logo on my chest for the rest of my days, because you literally just saved our lives, you know? And as this whole thing unfolded, this was the most unbelievable part to me. I thought this was going to be a fight that we would be fighting for years. We would be taking it to court, and then to the next level of court, state level. We take federal court, and we'll be just going through this crazy ringer to save the place that we love. And within 24 hours, these people were searching down my number and our contact to try to figure out how they can easiest get the news to us that this is something that they were not interested in pursuing anymore. So yes, like I said, I broke down, I cried. I went in and I told I think 5 people that were on the lot. It was Beth, it was Will, it was Carl, it was, honestly, it might have only been those handful of people. But I told them, we cried together and hugged, and, you know, is this real? What's happening? You know, and then I started making some phone calls and seeing what we could put together. And I did see Mark pull up, and I assumed that they would tell Mark right away, being that Mark is in the position that he's in. You know, I figured they would right away run up and be like, you'll never believe it. So I go up and I give Mark a hug, which in hindsight must have seemed so weird.
I thought you were just sad and stressed, and that was a supportive, we'll get through this together
hug.
They didn't tell me anything.
Which that's amazing. You know, that's again, the cinematic quality of our team is, what are they going to spoil that perfect cinematic moment that I could break the news to you? So yes, it came very quickly, and we knew that we had to put the word out there very quickly and get our ducks in a row to be able to do so. So I think we let it sit overnight. We started telling just, I think, a few people.
No, you.
That was Thursday?
Video. That was Thursday.
Wow.
You did that video like not long after I got there.
That's insane.
Because it was not suddenly said to you, please put another video out.
Yes. So yeah, I think we hesitated. Maybe then it was just for a few hours. We were probably getting the show ready. And I got another call, and it was like, hey, about letting people know that this is done. Could you do that now? So I remember I pulled Mark aside, and I was like, there's no other way to do this. If they want the word to get out there now, we're going to have to go live. So reached out to the right people, made sure this was an okay thing to do. And we just went live. And again, with the motto of cutting our hearts open and sharing it just like the documentary did for all of us. This was our approach to let people know the good news and the unbelievable news. And it sounded a little something like this.
First off, let me say this has been the craziest 24 hours of my life. The amount of love and support that has come pouring in from every single angle and area of the globe has been beyond heartwarming for myself, for the team here, and for what we stand for. You guys know it. This is the worst case scenario for a drive-in. To be functioning under a handshake agreement with a landowner that at any time could potentially sell the land out from under us. Okay, so we got to this position, unfortunately, because there were some mistruths put out. But what we decided to do is react to what we had in front of us, okay? So what we have going on here over the last 24 hours is I've done, I'd say, easily 20 different on-camera interviews with people from everywhere. Mark and I have been doing on-phone interviews with people from literally all over the globe. When you talk about the power of the drive-in, everybody can point at this from now on and say, The Mahoning Drive-In Theater is something that means the world to so many people. And to now have it potentially taken from us, you guys aren't going to let it happen. You guys are not going to let it happen. That is what I just found out, is that this community is stronger, stronger and more powerful than you know. Just know that you guys have put this smile on my face. You guys, every single one of you guys watching this, every single one of you guys that shared that video, every single one of you guys that sent an email, every single one of you guys that tagged whoever needed to be tagged on Twitter, you guys literally just saved our lives. So hold on to your ass. Film your loved one if you're sitting next to them, because I want to see these reaction videos. I just got off the phone with the vice president of Green Skies Solar. They're backing out 100% on the project. They're abandoning the project, guys. I talked to Joe. He's willing to sell us the property. The Mahoning and its future seem more secure than it ever has in all my years here, and I think beyond. You guys made this happen. This doesn't happen. Just know that. All right? This was a huge contract with a lot of money put into it, and Green Skies, out of the good of their heart, decided this is way too important to the community. This is way too important to the culture, and you guys let them know that. They saw the video, they saw everything. They got everything that you sent to them, to the point where they are walking away from a humongous investment for them, for the good of our future. Our future. This is forever. The drive-in will never die. The Mahoning will never die. You guys just proved that to the world. I thank you guys all. This roller coaster, I'm sure, is not over yet. But please, here's what I'm going to ask, okay? Green Skies, I villainized here, okay? They went into this contract with some falsities and thought that we were a business that was not doing well. I want you to take all that energy that you guys put into going after Green Skies, and please tag them and thank them, because they are the reason that we are able to push forward with this. The township now has gotten a call from Green Skies. They are pulling out 100%. They won't even be at the zoning meeting because there's no need for one. Guys, I can't even put it into words. Honestly, you have made not just my life, everybody here, the whole entire team here, the entire drive-in culture, the world, what we represent in this community. You guys proved it. You guys did it. This is the power of the drive-in. If anybody wants to question if the drive-in has a future, you point them at the Mahoning Drive-In Theater and you tell them this story. This is legend, guys. I told the whole team here, this is storybook. You literally could not script this story. It's unreal. It is unreal. So please, I hope you guys are jumping for joy right now. I hope you guys are packing your bags, getting ready to come out to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater and celebrate with us now on Monday and on Tuesday, because we don't have to do a rally. We don't have to go to the township meeting. We don't have to fight. This is a war that was won with your heart and your dedication to this place and what it stands for. Guys, you own my heart. You literally own our heart forever. I say it on the air all the time. It's as much yours as it is ours. You guys own this place. You guys just proved you own this place. Nothing will challenge the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. You guys are at the helm, so you won't let it happen. I love you guys. Mark?
Hi. Hi there. I'm filming myself. Hey, you guys did it. We were honestly pretty damn busy with Joe Bob this weekend. We put it out to the community. The community responded in an insane way that took us by surprise. Inside 24 hours, this was taken care of. I didn't know. August 2nd, Lehighton, Pennsylvania, the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. It's not a Save the Mahoning rally. It's a You Saved the Mahoning rally. Come on out. Flicks, fun, fruits, and friends. There may be some fruit.
I'm bringing fruits.
At any rate, we all thank you, and we will thank you.
We love you guys. We love you. This is going to be a celebration for the ages, okay? We're not going to disrupt the township. We never want to do that.
No.
But this is going to be a nice, beautiful, organized celebration, as the rest of the Mahoning history should be. When you guys come here, you wear it on your sleeve. You already wear the Mahoning love on your sleeve, but you wear it with pride because you guys made this happen. I got to thank Green Skies Energy for backing out and away from an investment that I know was big. I know it was big. And again, this does not happen. This doesn't happen. You guys made that happen. And I got to thank Joe. I got to thank our landowner here for his willingness to sell to us. This is our opportunity to secure the Mahoning Drive-In and its future forever. And honestly, we cannot wait for the next 72 years. We cannot wait to host you guys again. We cannot wait to have you back on the lot so we can get those big ass hugs from you and celebrate what we all just did. The power of the drive-in. What did I tell you? The drive-in will never, never die. I love you guys. You did this. You did it.
And that is the most storybook story you guys may ever experience in your lifetime. And I still can't believe is happening, even though this certainly isn't over yet. And this will certainly be an ongoing topic, I'm sure, in the podcast. But to have this battle won the way that it was won is stunning. And to know that it was won off of the heart and passion that the fan base has for this place, it really, like I said in that video, makes us feel invincible. There is so much, as my buddy Ben Money said when I broke him the news, he said there's so much spiritual energy around what you guys have built at this place that it is almost an unstoppable force. You could, the screen could fall down, the building could burn down, the lot could fall into a sinkhole, and the Mahoning spirit and energy will keep it going. That's the craziest thing.
That news broke, you put out that video, and suddenly we were once again swarming with news crews on Thursday, right as we were opening, as the public was entering for Joe Bob. At one point, we had at least 4 news crews on the lot at the same time.
That was the same
everybody.
night. That's insane.
Yeah.
What a roller coaster, man.
So some of them got interviews with Joe Bob about it. And a guy poked his head into the DJ booth, into the 35 booth when I was prepping to DJ, and he had all of these banners in his arms. And he said, I just made all these Save the Mahoning banners for you. And I just heard. And he was like, what do I do with these? And I said, what you do is you put the word we in front of save and a D at the end of that word, and they're equally as effective.
Somebody did in the our group chat, somebody added a D to our little, thing that we shared. And then we shared that, and that was huge. Just the simple one letter makes all the difference.
And Joe Bob, who had said to us privately that he was going to, in his words, declare war in the middle of the live last drive-in episode, we were able to announce from that big stage what had happened, and the cheers were amazing from people who knew who we were and people who were there for the first time, because it was all people who loved the drive-in. And you're announcing that to everybody standing over a banner that says the drive-in will never die. That's a hell of a photo op right there. And I'm going to endlessly say, when I say we saved the drive-in, I mean everybody listening. Everybody else did it. You put out that video. A few of us did a few things, but we were honestly too busy to do much. It really was everyone else coming together and sharing their heart and passion and intellect that made this happen. Like, honestly, alone, we would not have had much of an impact at all. It was all of the people out there all over the country, and again, really all over the world, who did this, that we literally owe our future to.
And like that group in the chat, some of our most loyal regulars and some of our most creative friends, quite honestly, they all did their part. And I can't thank them enough, because, we said, you guys run with this as you will, like as you would do this. Like, don't let us tell you what to do. Like, you own this story because it's your story. It's our story and it's their story. And fight for this as you would fight for something that you care about as much as you guys do. And, I wish they could all be on this podcast, because literally they all went above and beyond, whether it was writing emails or calling local businesses.
Kate was a dynamo. Caitlin Drumbore was on the phone, and Mike Drumbore, they were on the phone constantly to the township, getting answers about what is the procedure, what do we have to do, what are the next steps. Kate, basically, I handed off the keys to the Facebook Save the Mahoning Facebook page, and she was moderating that and adding new things and replying to comments. I mean, they were amazing. And this is while, I was driving 3 hours to get down there and helping set up a show. And the number, I don't know if we ever shared them all, but we really have to. All of the Save the Mahoning memes that people came up with that were film-based were brilliant. There was one it was like a little GIF or GIF for Home Alone we had us laughing out loud, and how fast our friends whipped these up and how well they did. I don't know if we ever shared them. Maybe we'll share them all to the Save the Mahoning page for posterity. But while we're losing our minds and really getting frightened and desperate, those laughs were extremely helpful to all of us.
It's so creative. Like, there's things that I never would have thought of, and I'm like, we really do have the coolest fucking friends,
Yes, and community, and that's the thing that this showed, is the power. And like I said in that video, like, for anybody that doubts the power of the drive-in, it's unbelievable what just happened. This is a front page news David versus Goliath story, and ironically, it's one that in the script that I wrote in college, it's the craziest thing, but it's about a ragtag group of friends at a drive-in who, befriend an older generation gentleman at the drive-in. The place is threatened to be closed down by a big indoor movie theater, and they rebel to save it. It's just like, as this whole thing was like panning out, I'm just like, this is literally the greatest scripted movie unfolding right in front of our eyes. It was and is still, to me, unreal. And I feel like, there's many moments through the day where I'm like, can somebody pinch me? Because, like, this is just craziness. And again, like, moving forward, there's still plenty of things to take care of to secure the property. But having this happen the way that it happened certainly gives us some security and peace of mind.
Yeah, so I always thought a Target was going to come for us, or something, a big chain store. I didn't think it was going to be what ended up being a solar panel farm. But
you couldn't script that. It's too on the nose. Literally, the guy at Script Notes would be like, "Yeah, come on, that's a little much, isn't it?"
Yeah, this is the cheesiest story, but that was why it was so perfect and why we were so ready for this, because, like, while a lot of other businesses would pause and try to figure out, what's the next move, like, we've seen the next move over and over and over again throughout our whole lives in all these.
We've seen Breakin' 2. We know how to take them down.
Yeah, we've seen the end of Footloose. Let's get real.
Hey, it worked.
That's right. Look, and that's the thing is, regardless of how insane this story is, it worked. And this is our now continued legendary status. And to have this happen on the weekend, our biggest weekend in our entire history, a weekend that is and was designed to celebrate the drive-in culture, as we bring Joe Bob Briggs into town, arguably the drive-in king. It's beyond storybook to then have this happen the way it happened and be able to celebrate with some of the most diehard drive-in fans in the country, all on one legendary lot. The amount of hugs that I've given out since this news has broken has been unbelievable. People came to this lot ready to jump out of their car and hug. You know, they were just so elated that this devastating news was turned around so quickly and had become such a success story so quickly. It's almost like, hey, is this really happening? Like, you guys aren't
actually,
this isn't part of an installment for a show, is it, James?
No, but like, it really says something about like the kind of drive-in we run and the people who do come out is that they are a whole bunch of punk rock, you know, rock and rollers. They are the drive-in mutants. Even when Joe Bob was not in town, like, these are the type of people that come out. And this is like as much as a home to them as it is to us. It's a place where they can be themselves, and they were not about to let somebody come in and kick them out of their home.
And I said it, that the mutant family and the Mahoning family became one overnight for sure. But to have this huge celebration and this news all come in one weekend, it was a magical weekend, and one that obviously we will never forget. But the idea that it went down the way it went down, in the timing that it went down, it's just truly the most cinematic storybook story you guys may ever experience in your life. And I feel totally blessed to have you guys in our corner and supporting us. Like I said in that video, it's you guys own this theater. That's what it comes down to. Is, you know, it might not be on paper, but you know that you own it, you know? And the power behind that is staggering, absolutely staggering. And if this doesn't burn the fire in our belly even hotter, man, oh man, we are so ready to just take this puppy to the moon and welcome all the new fans in, and the people who, you know, that's the big thing, is we got so many emails from people saying, I just discovered you. I didn't even have a chance to come out. I've been following you for a year, you know? And now this really puts it in people's heads of like, this place is special. And this place is certainly worth your trip every single time. And I think everybody saw that over Joe Bob weekend for sure.
Yeah, we do this for you guys. We all work our asses off, and I speak for the three of us as well. We work our asses off for you guys to be entertained, and we just want to put on the best possible shows so you guys, you know, are happy. And this is, as Virgil said, this is not a money-making operation. You know, we're not doing this for any other reason than for you guys. And I think you guys really trust us and know that, and really wanted to stick up for us when it was your turn to do something. And they gave it back times 1,000.
Oh, they gave it back. Yeah.
So we had planned originally for August 2nd to be a Save the Mahoning rally. It was going to be the night before. This was that scheme JT had hatched at that dinner the night after the first zoning meeting. And the idea is that we wanted to get people together the night before the real zoning meeting, which is going to be August 3rd, and have a big rally and invite the media and have people give testimonials and have it be a free show with a couple movies that were sort of about people saving things. And as soon as we realized that we didn't have to do that anymore, we turned it into a We Saved the Mahoning celebration. So this probably will not go out until after that has already happened, but to talk about that just a little bit. So we decided we would make it a free show. You could stay there for free. You needed to get a ticket just so we didn't, you know, overpack the place because we've seen what that looks like. And people responded quickly. I think we had hit 400 tickets maybe the day after we announced the show. And now we've hit maximum capacity. We've sold out.
Yeah, sold out in 3 days.
And we're lining up food trucks. The thought was, let's have it be a big celebration. In broad terms, share the wealth with people who have been there with us. So we invited back a lot of food trucks and a lot of new food trucks. We figured we would give the snack bar staff the night off so they could come out and enjoy it. Inviting vendors that we've worked with again, and everybody gets in free. Snack bar would be open. We've ultimately decided, we realized, I think like yesterday or today, it's like, well, the food trucks are all going to leave when the sun goes down, and people are then going to be there for 2 movies and maybe overnight. Maybe we should have some food for them. So Beth's going to have the snack bar be open during like the traditional intermission. But otherwise, we're just going to have fun and watch some cool flicks. Harry from Exhumed is providing a couple prints for us. One extremely rare movie that I only ever saw via dubious means. It's a movie that I don't think ever was released in this country in any form. And we're just going to welcome, 750 people who are happy that we're still around and have a big love fest, basically. We're talking about setting up a podium so people can do, speak if they want to, and we'll live stream it for those who couldn't make it. And it's wild because it went from this little grassroots kind of, we hope a few people will show up to help us fight this fight and then stick around to go and be at this meeting the next day, to, oh, wow, it's a huge party that we've sold out of in like a day. And now we're having to treat it like another Joe Bob show almost, minus the live TV aspect.
And it's the perfect opportunity, again, like going back to James's quote, how else would film nerds react? We have been able to save the empire. Well, we gotta have the party, And I think giving the opportunity for people to step up to the microphone, talk about how much the Mahoning means to them.
There's so many people that have done so many things for us, whether it was supporting us or even volunteering, and they very rarely get to the spotlight. And this is a great opportunity, and I hope everybody takes advantage of that and lets their voices be heard.
Yeah, it's going to be something for sure. And again, it's the staggering thing about it is how widely loved this theater is, and what we do is we've aligned ourselves with giants in this industry, and we have really presented ourselves in a way that when we look at things that we love, that we would want it to be presented, and to have that all come back in such a big way is again so inspiring, and lets us look forward to the future in such a way that gives us confidence, knowing that boy, oh boy, we are doing this right. We are making an impact in people's lives. We are important to people. We are a part of their fabric, their culture, their whatever it is. That's the biggest thing with this is it proved to us how much this place means to so many people. Not that we didn't know, but to really see it come at us in such a wave of support endlessly. You guys are our hearts. You really are. You're the heart of the Mahoning. That is for sure.
Now, if you all send $5,
well, that's another thing worth mentioning is this was not a money fight.
No, we were adamant about it. Not people asked, and I said no. This is not a fundraising thing.
People went out of their way to raise money for us, even though we didn't need it. And that's a beautiful gesture. And our whole thing is, this isn't a money battle. And if and when it needs to be, then certainly we will let people know. But as of now, this was about support, and you guys gave that in such a way that it overturned an unreal situation.
Yeah, make no mistake, we are not doing bad. This is not a failure of the business situation. We have had the best season we've ever had. The biggest shows that we've ever done, and that goes from besides just Joe Bob, like Trauma, Zombie Fest, all our
VHS
shows. The VHS Fest was the biggest turnout ever, beyond Joe Bob. So this was not about us doing terrible or that we were failing in any way, shape, or form. It's just something got pulled out from under us. The rug got pulled out from under us, and it had nothing to do with how good we were doing.
Right. And I think people could see that. It was clearly just an unfortunate misinformation situation that got us here, but we reacted how we only knew how to, and that is to present our hearts, present our emotions, present our story, and just be honest. That's kind of our motto in this outfit is just lead with honesty, and hopefully everything works itself out. And certainly that was the case here. So we're going to continue to do so as things develop. We'll certainly be keeping everybody in the loop. Definitely, since you guys are our lifeblood here and our direct contact to the fans with the podcast, certainly you guys will get it right away. We love you guys. What do you guys have to say?
Thank you.
I'll just say we will continue to keep putting on kick-ass shows for you guys as hard as we've always been putting them on for you, because nobody deserves it more. And another big shout out to everybody, ranging from people we've never even met to people that come every weekend. Like, you guys did this. We are just a select few, and you guys are an unstoppable army of drive-in mutants and fanatics, and we cannot thank you possibly enough for showing your passion and what you really care about, and that you care about us is beyond flattering. So thank you.
Drive-in for life. The Mahoning Drive-In will never die. That is for certain. And on that note, Jeff, take it away, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for coming out tonight to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. We hope you'll come back and see us again real soon. The exit is on the right-hand side of the screen at the front of the field, and most importantly, have a very safe trip home. Good night, and God bless you.